2,000 years later.
Amazing
So,
World of Gumball.
We're going to recap all the choices, and we'll get to the final section. So, for pop culture fiction, it was 3 of you guys that picked Pirates Caribbean. Solid standard.
Unanimously.
Yeah, unanimous Pirates Caribbean. Video games was 1 God of War, 1 Sea of Thieves, and 1 for Destiny 2. Of those 3 options, which one do you think is the best world to live in?
Best world to live in.
Discuss amongst yourselves.
So,
I would
wait,
have
are
to-
you
I
talking
would have
about?
to say personally?
Are you
Sea of
talking about like what do you mean?
Like,
So, are you
So
taking?
you
Because
guys-
doesn't
you
that
guys-
mean
no, so you
like
guys
we
picked-
picked the ones we liked the most?
Yes.
So wouldn't we just pick the same ones again because that's the one we chose?
Well, no. You guys need to decide on one now.
So we have to
One.
argue with the fact that
So
of
what
what
I
the
did
3 of
was-
us have chosen.
Yeah, we culled down the options to select few, and now we're gonna pick one.
Okay.
Okay. So
So
what
our
is the
options
3 we have
are-
to choose?
Yes.
What are they again?
So God of War,
War.
Sea of Thieves, and Destiny.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I can see Destiny. The only one I can't see is Sea of Thieves. That is such a I don't know.
Well, I mean,
But-
here's the argument I have.
Hmm.
Is the simple fact that the Sea of Thieves, you're in the Sea of Thieves, the little small section of the sea. While you may think it's not small, it is technically small. Or which Destiny universe, yes, you can go to planets, but you can go anywhere. Anywhere from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2.
That is true.
That is a fair point.
God
However,
of War, you're stuck to that world. You're just, I mean, yes, it's a world,
You
but you're
can be
stuck
a
to that one
god.
world.
you can be a god in that world.
Yeah, but you're still stuck in one world. That's all you are.
But you have to fight aliens regularly.
You don't have to
in
technically
Destiny.
fight aliens.
But
Okay, so from the standards that were given, you have to engage in the conflict.
Oh.
Is that the standards we agreed on at the beginning of this?
Well,
Chester?
I just know you couldn't be part of the main characters.
World, you have to still participate in the world.
okay,
You can't
Yeah,
just completely fuck off. You can fuck off to an extent, but you can't just be like gone.
So you do have to deal with the aliens then.
Well, okay, that depends on what specific missions you were to take in the Destiny universe. Now, granted, you take a scouting mission just to scout out some land for resources or a base of operations.
Yeah, what if you run into some bear that lives on the island and it just mauls you?
You do realize that you're part of the Destiny universe. You're going to have light abilities, guardian abilities, and the exotic weapons. Whether that goes to Gallowhorn, which is a freaking rocket that can also blow up into a volley of mini rockets that heat seek. Or you could take the portable toaster of death and launch heat-seeking toaster mines.
Let me ask you something. Is this toaster of death similar to the dubstep gun in Saints Row?
Possibly. Does it shoot out a wave of whatever? Like it's okay. You said it's a subwoofer or something along those lines. A wave of sound to kill their target, while the toaster of
But it's
death
dubstep.
essentially sends in flaming heat-seeking toast.
I'm sold.
What about you, Colby? You got a stance against it?
I'm gonna have to say Sea of Thieves would be better. I'm just sorry. I would have to, because really, if you pledge the Flameheart, you could also gain control of the Burning Blade.
That's true.
But then
You better work your ranks
That's
up.
true. However,
you gotta fight to keep it, though.
you do have to fight to keep it. You have to fight everyone on the Pirate Lord's crew. Or
Okay,
not on their specific crew. You know what I mean? On their team. Because it's essentially 2 teams. You got the Pirate Lord's group, and then you have the Reapers.
Hold on.
But also, how are you going to explain it to Flameheart if you sink his ship? How are you going to explain that to him? And how do you think he's going to take it after spending years being stuck in a lifeless form? or
Okay,
quote unquote lifeless, as in he's not even in the
but
Fort of
hear
the
me
Damned.
out. Hear me out, though. It is the Burning Blade. It packs a lot of firepower. Not to mention, it has a giant flamethrower on the front of the ship.
That doesn't mean you're invincible.
You
You
technically
also, you're not going to know this, but you also have to deal with the Brethren Court, who, if you pick any spot, basically they have Davy Jones on their team.
honestly, if I had the Burning Blade,
Hey! Actually, now you said
just
that, not
saying.
only are you dealing with Flameheart, you're even dealing with Davy Jones. That's two Reapers of Death.
And they do not like each other. might
One's
like each
fire,
other a
one's
lot.
water.
They might like each other a lot less than the Pirate Lord likes Flameheart. Because Wanda, the leader of the Brethren, as of now, she stole from Flameheart. And she does not they don't get along anymore. She literally went to Wanderer's Refuge and scratched her altar, basically destroyed it. And then went away.
So she basically tore down her statue saying that, yeah, I'm part of
I
this
can
bitch.
show you where that's at. Colby knows where it's at. Colby has seen it.
all right,
You remember
all right.
you remember the cave under the with all
yes,
the scratch
So,
marks
Colby,
and
are
the
you succeeding
Flameheart
Sea of
shrine?
Thieves to Destiny?
yes, because Jacob has a fair point. I'll go to Destiny, I guess.
Dude, the only thing I gotta say is, if you were part of the Destiny universe, you could technically travel to the Sea of Thieves universe. Technically speaking.
I like my God of War option, but so we can
I mean,
move
God
this
of War
on.
is good.
I'm just gonna go to Destiny.
Okay.
Hey,
We have two
we got a
more
lot
things
of
to
good
get
weapons
through.
over there.
Okay.
go.
Yeah.
Mystery's gonna hate this length of an episode.
Oh, well, how long is it?
I think we're
Discuss
already
it
looking
when we're
at.
done.
Okay.
No,
I
how
think we're almost
seriously,
at the
how long
2-hour
is it?
mark.
Oh, we've been recording an hour and a half.
Holy.
Why don't we make this? We'll make this a two-parter then.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll do that. So that way, well, I mean, we'll just continue to drag it out. Well, not quote unquote drag it out, but you know what I mean. We don't have to rush to get to the end.
Yeah. So
Yeah, let's
get to the cartoon section.
Okay.
So I got one for SpongeBob,
Or was
one
it-
for regular
wait.
show.
Wait, we didn't do anime. It went anime then cartoon.
Oh well, I wrote it
Oh,
backwards
did it?
on here. Yeah, because I was gonna do
Okay.
cartoon first, but then you guys were like
Okay.
anime.
Oh yeah, see, okay, this totally works
Okay.
because we could end the episode
On the anime.
we could end the episode before we start going back. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Before we go back to the, and then we could have this
We can
be a
have
separate
whole,
episode.
A whole
We could have
episode of the wrap up.
we could have a second anime segment too because we're going to talk about anime again.
Then we need to go back to
Yeah.
the final selection.
So we'll go ahead and do the anime one. So we have one for Solo Leveling, one for Pokemon, one for One Piece. In my mind, there's one really good option here.
I'm staying with Pokemon. You're not getting me off
I'm
of
saying-
it.
Okay. Look here. That's the only thing I
There
gotta
is
say.
no argument you could possibly give that would make either of those two options better than Pokemon.
Will you hold on a second and let
argument.
me actually talk about this for 1 second? Solo leveling. You don't know when you're going to get there unless you pick a specific timeline to actually live there. You're going to have to deal with either not having the main character being the main character or the main character being the main character. That's two options. Because you have one, the first option, everything is fucked. Everything is fucked before the raid. And when the raid happens, if the main character isn't the main character by that time, then everyone is fucked.
Yes.
Yeah, but we have Nintendo in the Pokemon universe.
Okay, hold on a second. This is where I'm getting at here. One Piece universe compared to Pokemon. To be fair, Pokemon is smaller.
Pokemon might be
Okay,
smaller,
but keep in mind, this
but
is
that
not
doesn't make it.
Pick a favorite. This is a pick of what you would want to live in.
That's what I'm saying. It's not really picking a favorite. It's more
There
along
is
the lines
so
of I'm thinking
many
strategically.
things. There are so many things that could go wrong in One Piece. If you
So many
choose
things
to
that can
live,
go wrong
if
in the
you,
Pokemon.
what goes wrong?
Okay.
For
Okay.
let's take the base
You-
average life of a person of
Okay,
the
they-
Pokemon universe. They are the happiest people in any universe I've ever seen. And then you have One Piece. If you're a pirate in One Piece, you have to deal with the admirals at some point. If you're going to become that much of a problem, you're going to have to deal with them. Two, if you're a Navy officer, you're going to have to fight. You're going to have to deal with pirates at some point who are going to be stronger than you, and they're going to absolutely obliterate you. Not to
Okay.
mention, if you're a regular civilian, think of who you have to deal with. Also, you have to deal with Useless Kid, or Arlong, who was getting paid by the government, or was trying to pay the government so he could continue doing what he's doing. There's no argument.
I love
First
the
off,
passionate
Arlong's
nature
dead.
of this episode.
We have passionate nature of this episode. No, the only thing I'm saying is considering the fact that, for one, in the One Piece universe, devil fruits, while you consider them not to be rare or rare, is the simple fact that they're offset abilities.
If you get stuck in water, you can't do that. I can ride my Squirtle in the water. I can have my
Ride my
Pokemon in the
Squirtle.
water. Okay?
Okay.
I can grab my Magikarp and we can go.
And
To
yet
the
you want to
world.
argue on the simple fact that a
You
fish
can't
man
even
has.
touch. You can't even touch water if you have a devil fruit.
Mm-hmm.
There's just and here, let's do this actually. Give me an ice Pokemon. I guarantee the ice Pokemon can do the same thing as Kizaru does.
Bull. I have to say that is bull.
with
Besides,
no water effects. No effects against the water. I could throw my ice Pokemon in the water and he just swims back out.
Okay.
okay, but when
If you throw Kizaru in the
What?
water, what's gonna happen?
he's gonna freeze the
He's
ice.
gonna die. He's gonna
He's
die.
gonna freeze the ice.
He's not.
He's
Yes,
gonna
he
freeze
is.
the
Yes,
ice.
he
You are breaking the rules. If they touch water, that's game. No, you
not
can't
arguing
say
about this with you.
because he does not once touch the water. When he's riding his bike is touching the water.
He still
He does
freezes
not-
it.
He does not physically touch the water. You're wrong. You're wrong.
No.
Give me another point and I'll destroy it. Give me another
Like
one.
you're
I don't
destroying
have
it.
a
You're not-
point either in one way or another. I will say I do side with Pokemon more because it's a lot more calm and a better world to live in. But
Okay,
I do
okay,
wanna
yes.
give, hold on,
yes.
shut up. Host. So I just Googled the population of the One Piece world. It's
Yeah.
about at least 8 million people, roughly.
Okay.
Now hold on. There's also
That's probably a lot smaller than the Pokemon universe.
I didn't check,
Might be bigger.
but
Oh.
you also have 165 canon devil fruits, but up to 225 in movies, and so
Mhm,
I went
mhm.
off 225. Do you know the percentage chance to get a devil fruit?
Under 1%. Under 1%.
No, it's worse than that. Because that's a 10th, 100th.
Oh Lord.
It is 0.003% of a percentage to get a devil fruit.
That shit is like finding a 7-leaf clover.
Okay. While that is accurate, however, that does not mean that you're not going to have to deal with pirates.
No.
Okay.
I still
It's
I
called the
side
Great.
with the Pokemon though.
It's called the Great Pirate Era for a reason, and Marines are having a heck of an issue containing it,
Can I say this for
and
the Pokemon
civilians
universe?
as well.
Can I say
What's
this?
your side, Nathan?
You have One Piece who have that percentage of actually getting a devil fruit. A good devil fruit, which
Any.
is probably
No, that's
lower.
Yeah,
Any.
good devil
Any.
fruit is worse.
Well, no, it's
Anywho.
any. It's still
Yeah,
like
that's-
it's among the percentage, but it's like because I mean,
Still
there's
the
one of
RNG
every.
rule.
There's one devil fruit though. There's like one of that kind, so they're all technically the same. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
if you eat it, then you can't have that fruit again until what Bruiser is dead. But anywho,
Yeah, so it's basically the same.
You
for all of
have
them.
125 technically users of Delafru who are slowly dying and also rising again. Now, you have Pokemon, to which I've seen a little bit of Pokemon in the original series on the simple fact of
I
how
grew up
much
with Pokemon.
chaos and destruction an untamed, wild Pokemon can be. It doesn't have to be terrorist. It doesn't have to be anyone human. Pokemon. Yes, you can say the Pokemon
That's
universe
true.
is calm. Is calm with the
What's your
humans.
example, though? What's your example?
What do you mean? You can have Pokemon in herds, which you can have probably I forget what this freaking ox type looking Pokemon
I
is.
know the one you're talking about.
I know
You
the
can
one you're
have
talking
those,
to.
which they probably weigh almost over 100 tons, if anything.
Whoa, I don't think they weigh that much.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
depends. I mean, for crying out loud, you have small
My car,
Pokemon that
my car
weigh.
weighs like at maximum 3.
Oh.
It definitely weighs a
So
lot
what's
less
one
than that.
ton? What
We
is
get-
one
we
ton?
get- okay,
Wait, I get your
got
point
it.
though. I get your point
We
though.
get, we
But
get your
anywho,
point.
Well, hold on.
you have a herd of those minding their own business, then they get spooked because some poachers. Next thing you know, you have a herding stampede of dozens upon dozens of these 1 ton or over or less beasts that could potentially go into a town. And they are Pokemon. They have powers. They will absolutely
Can-
destroy your home.
Can you confirm that has happened? Can
I
you
can't
confirm
exactly
that?
remember, but I remember a couple of times where the Ash team actually ran into a couple of towns where wild Pokemon were devastating it.
But see, also, you don't have to live in a small town where that could be a problem. You could live in a city.
You could live on one of those fancy island water islands they have.
Yeah. It's like, because
I think
the
so.
stipulations is you can choose when and where you live.
I mean, yes, I do
You
understand
just
that.
can't change
but-
the aspects of the world.
I still, yes, I
Right.
do understand that. I just see it as the fact that you have
And
Pokemon.
whilst, like, okay, let's say, for example, your scenario plays out and the village is destroyed, right? The whole thing. We'll just say it's ground zero for the entire thing. Do you know how helpful the people are in the Pokemon universe? Do you know how helpful some of the Pokemon are in the universe?
Yes, I
They
understand
literally
that.
have Pokemon that literally build houses. They literally have that.
Mm.
And you could literally take those and just have that group of people just go to the town and you literally rebuild it.
I mean,
Is that a
yes, I
thing that can
understand,
happen in
but-
One Piece?
Yes, that can.
Mm,
Yes, it can.
Yeah.
I mean, that can.
That-
But when's it going to get destroyed
technicality.
again? The odds of a village in One Piece getting destroyed is a lot higher than a village in Pokemon.
Okay, you want to talk about that? I can argue about this. The odds of a village actually getting an attack are high. The odds of a village actually being fully destroyed, that depends on who's on the island. The odds of a whole village or
That
island being
argument
attacked by
falls apart so fast.
How does that fall apart so fast? You do realize if you were
Because
to
if
go
they
back,
don't destroy your village, it's going to cause major issues, similar to how Arlong worked.
do you really want to talk
How
about
Arlong
before they got to
was.
Sky Island? Luffy quite literally fought a dude who's causing damage in this one little shipport town. And he,
Luffy gonna come by and
while
save you?
he, it's not just one of the factors. I mean, it's considering the fact this is one of them.
There's too many casualties in One Piece for me to live there. It's not a thing I can. Nope.
People die in Pokemon as well. I'm not trying to say Pokemon's bad. I mean, One Piece is, yes, a little bit worse than Pokemon, but got a little
I've
more
never
of a
seen
wild
a
Can I
person there.
throw in this number real quick? Because I Googled the
Okay.
population of the Pokemon world.
Okay.
If you
Uh-huh.
Google the population of the Pokemon world, it tells you.
Now,
and
does that
hold on. Let
does
me
that
tell. Let me tell this.
include Pokemon numbers?
Let me tell.
Like the
Let me
numbers
tell
of
him.
Pokemon,
I think
or
it's
just
people.
people?
This is people.
Okay.
The Pokemon world's human population is difficult to pinpoint exactly, but estimates range from around 4,052 people
What?
to potentially hundreds of millions.
That's a big margin.
That's a
What-
huge. That is a huge.
What?
That's a huge gap, brother.
Yeah, that's a big
Okay.
gap. Thank you, Google,
First off,
for pinning it
It's
down.
First off,
only
you have-
4,000 to 100.
You have the extinction
That's
levels,
crazy.
close to extinction levels of populations of
Uh.
400,000. And then you have those of prospering numbers of hundreds of millions. What is it?
That's crazy. That gap is so
happened?
far.
What
So-
happened? Did Giratina get pissed?
Okay, so Jacob, you're staying with Pokemon.
Oh
correct?
yeah, I'm not leaving.
And then Nathan, if you made a decision, you sticking to your One Piece.
I mean, if anything, okay, I understand where Jacob's coming from. Pokemon, a hell of a lot more peaceful than One Piece. But you have to admit, peaceful can have its peaceful times. It's just, they may be short, they may be long, but something's always going
That's
to happen.
true. Maybe if well, you can't pick this time because it's not in One Piece, but in the time like before Roger was a
So
Alright,
what, the
even the
800-year void?
no, I'm not saying that. Like
40 years
literally,
before the current timeline.
yeah, like
It
literally,
would be like before
like that
Roger.
would be like, yeah. But
When
basically,
Brooke was
anytime,
around, when Brooke was a pirate.
basically anytime before Roger became or was executed.
Okay.
Literally.
My leg.
Because when he gave that message, that's literally what led One Piece to its doom.
Yes, that's what opened the
Was
powder
that?
kegs.
So
That moment.
the thing is if you guys are gonna stand fast on your thing, I will let Colby be the tiebreaker as the winner for this. Unless Colby wants to stand fast on solo leveling, and then we're gonna have a 3-way tie and move on.
Okay, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I would have to choose in between
no.
Pokemon or One Piece over solo leveling because I'm not living in that freaking universe. You're stuck at one power level, while at the other ones you can freaking power up as much as you want.
But
That's fair.
okay, I
You
agree.
know, Nathan
I
didn't
agree
even
with
get an
you.
argument.
No, I
agree
didn't.
with you, but you do also get a lot of loot in that game. A lot of loot
Wait,
from a dungeon compared to.
wait,
Sir, what loot?
wait,
What loot?
wait, no, hold
You are
on.
getting- Body parts.
I don't even know anything about solo leveling.
You
However,
need to watch it. It is
You
good.
need to
Hold
watch
on.
it. You'll watch.
You're concerned about loot drops versus
You
a
get one
literal
SD
anime about pirates?
Okay, no. So whenever you complete
You're
the dungeons in solo leveling, you get these crystals from the dungeon, right? Some dungeons have mines of them.
uh-huh.
And like one of those crystals is worth like hundreds of thousands of yen.
Okay.
Or whatever the currency in
Or-
Korea is.
or
Yen.
think-
Is it yen?
I don't
think
know.
it's yen.
I don't know, but one like So bosses also drop essence stones, and one essence stone is worth like 100 million. So if
Are
I
you
get
as
one
an
of them, I'm
average-
good.
Are
Yeah.
you as an average Joe going to be able to beat one of those though?
Well,
Well,
he
I'm gonna-
he said
Party.
he would be a type C, a level C.
Yeah, be a C. Be a
I don't
C
know what
rank.
that is.
It's
Well,
it's
C
like,
rank.
C rank's kind.
it's like a mid
in between.
level, like
Mid.
Yes, mid level. Like I'm not at S rank. It's literally like perfect. Medium level.
Honestly, if you're C rank in that universe, you are on par with Captain America. I'm just going to say that right
yeah,
now.
Yeah, I'd say
You
I'd
are
say
honestly on par
yeah.
with Captain America.
Yeah.
You go to S rank, you are actually pushing probably what, like maybe 4 or 5 Captain America stat boosts,
Yeah, that's true.
if not 10.
But
any
anyway,
S tier character in that is just 5 of them stacked on top of each other in a
okay.
big trench coat.
No, it's just the fact that your body just gets more bulk because you take more Captain Americas to your size. You gain a little
Okay.
bit of height, but you just gain muscle.
But anyways, I'm not gonna stick with solo 11 because you guys make good points. So, while I would like to stick with One Piece because One Piece is a great universe, I'm gonna have to stick with Pokemon because again, you could literally have your
Wait, did
own.
Nathan? Were you sticking with One Piece?
I
I don't
haven't
think you
yet
actually. I
continued
don't
it.
think you said that definitively.
No, I did. No, I
So we
didn't.
just went through this tiebreaker for no reason.
Basically, so I'm
So
basically gonna
Nathan,
be the
I'm
tiebreaker.
curious though. Are you going to stay in One Piece? You think the One Piece world is better? Like as a
It's
average
mostly
Joe?
considering the fact that you have a very, very low percentage of given to Devil's Fruit, whether it's trash or not, and a very high, maybe mid% rate of actually getting into bad shit, depending on where you're at.
That's
If
true.
you go to Pokemon,
Where like
you
the
have
variety of One Piece, like I think the East Blue is the tamest one.
It is.
it is. It's supposed to be the
Like
weakest.
by far, the East Blue is the
Like you could
tamest.
just live at what was Luffy's original village?
I will
called?
go to Windmill Village. I'll stay in the tavern.
One, or
Yes,
is-
it's Windmill
is that-
Village.
I couldn't remember if when. Yeah.
Actually, I might be thinking of Usopp's home. Can
That's what I
someone
was
actually do a
thinking,
fact check
but I
real
don't
quick?
know. Yeah, Mr.
I-
Rat.
I
Mr.
think
E,
it's
quick,
Windmill.
put it right by Chaston.
Yeah, there you go.
A little
right
fact
there.
check just to be sure, right there. I think it's Windmill Village. I could
think
be
you might
wrong.
be right.
I feel like
believe-
since I'm saying
I
Windmill
think you're right.
Village, I thought it was right, but I'm thinking back to Usopp, and for some reason that actually makes a little sense.
He
We don't
later
do
lived
research
in
here on
Windmill
this pod.
Village.
Huh?
Who?
He was born on Dawn Island.
Who? Usopp?
Luffy.
And
Luffy.
then moved to Windmill Village. Windmill Village is where his
So Windmill
adventure
Village
starts.
is correct.
So yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, anywho, if by those factors, if you go over to Pokemon, they actually have a better RNG luck of getting anything. I mean, for crying
Yeah.
out loud, Pokemon
Yeah, you
are in
could
the
literally-
abundance.
You can literally just look at one
Besides-
and be like, "Nah, I don't want it." And then go to the
Besides
next
the
one.
God Pokemon, except for can someone remind me of the lion Pokemon?
From which
I have no
one?
It's from the one Pokemon movie of the Unknowns, the symbol Pokemon.
I have no idea. I don't actually
Brother.
know that much
Entei,
about the Pokemon
Entei.
universe.
And oh yeah. Okay.
Did you know that there's 1,025 Pokemon now?
That's
Types
crazy.
and
That's crazy.
species.
Yeah,
No,
different-
that's
different-
species.
That's different Pokemons. But you know what's
That's
crazy?
Pokemon. That's the number in the Pokedex.
Okay. You know,
That's
you know a crazy number I
crazy.
just looked up? So remember that number I told you about the population of Pokemon?
Yeah.
Of humans?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
The Pokemon population itself, not just the guys, but Pokemon, is estimated to be in the hundreds of billions.
how
So
big?
you are
How big?
outnumbered.
How big is this world?
Probably massive, I would say.
It
If
must
it-
be.
it
It must
has
be
to
on
be.
par with a.
We have
on par
8
with One
billion
Piece.
people. We have 8 billion people on this planet, and it's pretty crowded, I would say, in some areas.
Honestly, I can see this.
And the
Humans
world's
in
only
the
30%.
Pokemon universe are the
number of
vermin.
Pokemon could even be in the quadrillions or quintillions.
I mean that does make sense. There's like you literally just look out to the right side and be like, yeah, there's 15 Weedles over there.
But like the
I-
thing
I-
is that it's the reason why they say that is because if we assume their numbers are similar to real world animals, so we don't have like a lot like we don't have real world animals. We have Pokemon.
Right.
It's the only thing I gotta say. Back to Kill la Kill. The reason why I've chosen that is because I don't technically have to get a full 100% life fiber uniform, and specifically, I wouldn't want to. Considering the fact that if you want that, and depending on how susceptible you are to 100% life fiber uniforms, that also depends on how much skin you have to show.
Wait, yeah, isn't that show like the lesser amount of clothes you have on, the more powerful?
No,
you are?
it's technically yes, for 100% life fiber uniforms. It also depends on how well and susceptible you are to a synchronization with life fiber uniforms.
Oh, so the suit's
So,
alive.
yes, it's alien.
I didn't know
They're
that.
called life fibers for a reason.
Well, I don't know.
They're
Carbon fiber is
parasitic. They're actually a
carbon fiber
parasite.
exists.
So now that Colby has
Oh.
returned,
Cartoons.
we can get
Jump
to the
cut.
cartoons. Yes, our jump cut.
Okay.
There we go. So now that we're gonna talk about our cartoons, so we have one for SpongeBob, one for regular show, one for Amazing World of Gumball.
I'm sticking with SpongeBob. SpongeBob, you're literally a fish at the bottom of the ocean. You're just chilling.
I would not want to live in the same world. Well, hold on. No,
I wouldn't. I
Colby, I
wouldn't.
think you're lacking in the argument department.
I'm
What do
just
you
saying
mean? You're
this.
You just your entire argument is you're a fish. That's
Yes.
your whole argument.
No
Does
one's
that
gonna mess
sound
with you.
that sounds way less cool than getting trained by Nicole Watterson.
The only thing I gotta say is it doesn't matter where you live in the Bikini Bottom or anywhere in SpongeBob. SpongeBob or Patrick or the both of them will find you
Yeah, they're
one
bound to show
way
up.
That is
or
fair,
another.
because any average
I don't
Joe
care.
knows who the fuck they are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It don't matter.
That
Literally,
is
yeah.
Every
that is
single
probably the most
person.
fair counter argument to
Then
SpongeBob.
I'll
I
just
was
live
siding
at
with
rock
SpongeBob.
bottom then. That
I'm
way,
just saying
I'm
this.
I
just
was
I don't
trying to
care
think of
who
a
you
good
are
argument,
in
but like,
Bikini Bottom. If anyone was to mention pink and yellow, they're either going to be sweating bullets because they think that SpongeBob and Patrick are nearby, or they're just going to look at you and say, "Do not go near them again. You are lucky to survive."
Yeah, they also just moved the town once, and like the whole town just got crushed by that giant worm.
Who
Yeah,
says I'm living in
also-
Bikini Bottom though?
And I can
I
only
can live at rock bottom.
it's
imagine.
either your option is that Rock Bottom or New Kelp City.
No, the only thing I
Rock
gotta say,
Rock Bottom,
Bikini
easily.
Bottom, their finances and their freaking taxes, I can only imagine how much they're in debt.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is the
I'm
saddest
sticking
city.
with I'm sticking with
There's
SpongeBob
literally
because it's the
gangs in
most.
that city.
I'm sticking with SpongeBob because it's the most peaceful.
What was Nathan's option?
I have another argument for SpongeBob why I wouldn't go there. I am not getting radiation sickness, even though I'm a fish that's already been poisoned by radiation.
Have the fish been poisoned by radiation?
Yes,
Okay.
why do you think the Bikini Bottom is there?
Hold on, time out.
Yeah.
I have seen a debunk on that.
What do
That's
you
not
mean,
true.
debunk?
That's not true. I saw a debunk on it. And I'll explain it to you. I've got literally one thing. There's technically two episodes that prove it wrong. And it's prehistoric. It's the prehistoric episodes.
Okay.
That is a fair point.
No,
It's
the
the
only
ones
thing I have
that
to
took
argue.
place prehistoric. Take SB-129. That's the episode where Squidward, I think, goes into the freezer, and the freezer time travels him all the way back.
Okay.
Millions of
And
years.
there is also
And they're ancient.
there is also another episode where it's SpongeBob, Squidward, and Patrick. They're all cavemen.
Yeah. They're all prehistoric. So that's a debunk right there.
I have to argue.
They could not have possibly evolved. They could not have possibly evolved
For radiation.
from radiation. It's
No,
impossible.
I have an argue.
Okay.
What's
So
your
what's your argument?
It is a very simple argument.
Okay.
What atomic testing happened at the Bikini Atoll?
Hmm? That's
The
what I just
amount
said. That's
of
radiation.
testing, the amount of testing,
Okay, hold
and
on.
radiation waste that they
Also,
polluted
hold
in there.
on.
Now listen
S-
here.
Okay. Yeah, I'll let you finish, and
Mr.
then
E-
I'll prove you wrong.
Mr. E, add a boxing bell and has punching
Yeah.
effects for that bit that Nathan did.
Now then,
Ding ding ding.
come back up. Now then, back to what I was saying. You do realize that they have their own ecosystem, they have their own timeline,
Right.
but you do realize that while they were cavemen, they were still just technically fish before
you
cavemen.
think- So you think that they evolved from cavemen to what they currently are in a minimum
Fish.
of 50 years? Is that what you're saying?
Let me be a nerd.
No, serious. Is that what you're saying? They evolved from the caveman looks.
Finished.
I thought you stopped talking. What do you want me to do?
Stopped me.
I didn't stop you.
I have two people here that were witnesses when you freaking stopped me. When I got to the caveman, you didn't let me finish. Now let me finish. Ah! Now then, Jesus Christ, I'm starting to lose my mind because the ADHD is starting to kick in. I don't know if it's ADHD, but anywho. Maybe it's this. But anywho. Quite literally. On the simple... Get that thing out of here. On the simple matter of the fact that the amount of testing... They even show freaking nuclear explosions in the
Hey.
goddamn show.
You said that.
I am just saying this. The amount of radiation that is in that area started up the show, that started their caveman lives, that evolved them to gain intelligence. And even then, you have a submarine diver who's always been in the show to give Sandy Cheeks, the squirrel, the job of being going incognito to go down there to the Queen and keep tabs on the ship.
So wait a
Sandy was
minute.
not
So wait a
in
minute.
any of the prehistoric episodes, for one. So get that out of here. Two, it literally says in the episode SB129 on the panel that shows what time he's going to. It literally shows him going X number of millions of years back.
Can I also say this?
Now, are you saying
Yeah, it does.
that they
It does.
evolved for 50 years? It took them to evolve from cavemen to what they are due to radiation?
I consider this as the factor.
Is that the
Fish?
crux of your argument? Yes or no?
You're not even letting me finish.
Did they evolve in 50 years? Yes or no?
I love
It depends
this.
on the amount of radiation that was deployed in the
love-
freaking
You
nuclear
can't
explosion.
answer a
The
yes or no
amount
question with
of nuclear
maybe.
explosions.
You
The amount
can't
of
answer a yes or no question with maybe.
The fact that we have a stockpile of used nuclear waste that is still radioactive to this day for hundreds of
To the
millions of years.
question.
Okay. Host is being in here. Okay.
Host, make him answer my question.
I just answered your question. You're not letting me
No,
finish
you
my
didn't.
answer.
Okay.
I just did.
Hold on. Shut
Okay.
up both.
Hey,
Everyone shut up.
both of you, back to your quarters. Back to your
Back to
quarters.
ding.
Fine.
Survive the round.
Fine.
Back to the
Yeah.
quarters.
Okay. So, in the lore, it's said that the fish are like sentient because of nuclear radiation. But also, it said that Squidward traveled back hundreds of millions of years, right? In the episode
Yes.
to whenever they were first cavemen evolving.
Yes.
Jacob's
Okay,
question
this is-
is it's whether the nuclear blast went off way back then, whenever that wasn't a possibility, or did it happen in the 40s and 50s, causing them to do that and evolve over 50 years? Yes
This
or
is
no?
the only
is the
thing.
only thing.
It's a simple yes or no question, Nathan.
No, shut up, Jacob.
Shut up.
Shut up.
Shut
Or no.
up.
Let
Let me
Nathan
answer
speak.
this and let me explain why I say yes.
Okay, so wait.
This is
no,
what
hold
I'm
on,
saying.
Wait. You said yes. You said yes. You believe it went off in the 40s and 50s. Yes, they evolved over 50 years. That's the answer?
Yes.
Okay. We could have missed a whole
Good.
like 10 minutes of that. because Jacob was just looking for a yes or no, and you kept.
I could have swore I
spiraling.
said yes.
No.
No,
But
you didn't
You can't.
at all.
You kept going, brother. You were like lost.
You lost in the sauce.
He was lost in the sauce.
Okay,
But
can
that's
I at
still
It's,
least
not-
it's
Quit.
hilarious that
Literally-
you guys
it
are both
literally
passionately
says-
arguing this, and
And
even though
I-
it's neither of your guys' options.
No,
It's
can
not
I
y'all's choices.
said
at
that
least
it popped up though. I said it popped up in that episode that Squidward time travel hundreds of millions of years. Did you not just Google that?
That is true.
can
Yeah,
I
he
at
did.
least
He did
say
say
this?
that.
The amount of times that they have time traveled or had some screw up with time, SpongeBob universe is not time accurate. It is not.
What are you? What?
You do realize that in the SpongeBob movies, the fact that they've only time traveled a little bit just to try to return to the Krusty Krab and make everything right, it has basically become a dune of nothing. The Krusty Krab is buried in the retrospect of what it is, almost 2 feet of sand. It is buried.
Well, that's
Do you
beca-
realize
that's
on
for the
how?
comedic effect of
Wait,
Krabby
look,
Patty going.
time out.
Yes.
Time out.
Yes.
Time out. Time out. Nathan.
No, hold on.
Yeah, I told you
Okay,
yes.
you know what?
I'm trying to
I'm
explain.
vetoing SpongeBob.
Okay, get Vito out of here.
SpongeBob's getting a veto. It's whether we pick SpongeBob or we don't. There's no more arguing about it. Colby wants SpongeBob. Do you guys agree with Colby or not?
Colby, look what you started.
I didn't start anything. All I said was SpongeBob is the most
Should have
peaceful.
picked regular
out of both
show.
y'all's universe. That's it. I didn't say that. You two started the argument.
You opened the can of
Yeah,
worms,
amazing
Colby.
one.
No,
and we,
no, I did not. No, I did not.
I can't
Don't you
wait
blame
for
me.
Mr. E to watch this back and like text me and be like, "What the fuck is going on? What crack did y'all smoke to get on this argument?"
me.
Yeah, Nathan over here.
I'm having fun. Leave me alone. It's my
Oh,
days off.
God.
Damn.
Fun.
Okay.
It's
I
fun.
can have fun.
Are you gonna have fun? I'm gonna have fun with you. High five, Nathan.
Oh wait, do that again. I wasn't ready.
Mystery, fix that. You know what to do.
Okay.
The first one was the
Mystery
problem.
hates
The
us.
second one was all right.
Yeah.
It's the best day ever.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't look
So-
at me.
Mr. E is gonna have a fun time. And what do you mean, Chasten? I'm looking at you.
No, quit look. You know what?
He's gonna bonk you.
What is the third option, Chasten, for the love of God?
Yes. What was the
Yeah,
third?
what is the third option? What is Nathan's choice?
It was regular
Nathan's
show.
choice was regular.
Please.
Regular show?
Should've
Okay,
picked
so it's
regular
between
show.
those are both. Let's be real. Those are both. You know, I unanimously agree we should live in the SpongeBob universe. Who agrees?
I used the power of Cobra to fuck y'all minds up.
We're just gonna live with SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the fact that-
Finally, get to the final fucking thing with this.
Please,
God
for
bless.
for
And I'm
Yes,
so
please.
scared for this next
Please.
section.
Oh,
Mr. Ian's Chasten
I
just
can't-
looking
I can't
at us for
remember-
that
I can't
last
remember
section.
what
And me and
both
Jacob
last-
like freaking disappointment.
Nathan, let's just unanimously agree to whatever Colby says.
thank
I don't know. It
Thank
depends
you.
on what I
Just to
forgot
make
what it was. I forgot
just to
what
make
it
it as
was.
fast as possible.
Please, for the love.
It's only 11:12 at
I
night.
only agreed to SpongeBob because Chasten said it was out.
I
I
just
don't
stuck
care
with
at
Ray.
this point. I just want to finish the
I just
episode.
wanted to get off. I just wanted to get off. The freaking SpongeBob bit. All I just said was SpongeBob is the most peaceful out of the universe, and then next thing I know,
And then war
Jacob,
started.
Jacob and Nathan are having a freaking presidential debate about it.
Okay.
My
Yeah, who do
nuclear
you
bombs
vote for?
win.
Of our four...
Nuclear
Stop it. No,
machines.
shut up. Of our four
Guys,
worlds...
focus.
that we
Lock
have
in.
now. Of our four
Oh,
worlds of pop culture fiction, video games, cartoon, and anime, which of those four would you want? As in Pirates of the Caribbean,
SpongeBob. I vote SpongeBob.
SpongeBob is vetoed.
I vote SpongeBob.
Hold
Colby, come on.
SpongeBob is vetoed.
Nathan, come on.
Destiny.
He didn't want SpongeBob.
Pokemon.
Destiny.
Just vote SpongeBob, please.
No, there's 2 votes on SpongeBob. SpongeBob wins.
Justin, what are you voting on?
I'm a host here. I don't
Oh,
get
so
a
you
say.
don't even get to put in a
No,
freaking
you
ballot.
Anything.
Well, no,
Why'd
there's
you
3
put
of
a
us.
vote in the ballot then?
Okay, go ahead and list our options.
Pirates
Let's
of
do it
the Caribbean,
again.
Destiny,
Okay. Okay.
SpongeBob,
Pokemon.
Pokemon, SpongeBob.
Oh, SpongeBob twice? Double win for SpongeBob! I vote SpongeBob.
Yo.
I'm not gonna vote for SpongeBob because
Well,
I'm
it's
arguing
2,
too
so it
much
doesn't
about
matter.
it.
It doesn't matter. SpongeBob wins. 2 of us voted for it.
Wasn't there technically a final selection? I thought there was gonna be like another category. I thought that's what the final selection was.
Yeah, I
unless
thought-
the 4
It's-
selections
it's
were
between-
Oh,
supposed to
no.
be
It's
for the
between
final
the 4 different
selection.
worlds. Pop
It's
culture,
Okay,
between
that's
the 4
fair.
that
video
that
game,
won,
cartoon,
basically.
or anime.
No, that's fair. I thought for some reason there was a 5th category.
No.
I picked SpongeBob.
Of course you would pick
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob. And if I meet you again, I'll argue with
We
you
have-
like with the freaking book.
We have 2 votes on SpongeBob. So that means
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob wins.
Is our winner for tonight.
Woo!
Your-
High five, Colby. Where are you
your
at?
argument-
Oh, you know
Wait.
what? Mystery
Wait.
knows what to do.
Your argument for SpongeBob is just like how you're passionately disagreeing with an isekai that starts off by getting stuck into a book.
I made.
You know what?
No.
You know what?
No.
You know what?
It's a good way to go into an
I'm not-
anime.
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna. I'm
You know,
not.
you know what?
I'm not.
Please, Mr.
I'm
E,
not-
just end the episode here.
I'm
We're
not-
done.
I'm not.
Look into the eyes of the cobra. You are now compelled to end this anime.
All right. So yeah, now what happens after this very calm 2-part episode we had?
Justin, buddy, you okay?
You
I
okay?
think
I
buddy?
think he's.
I think
I
he's
think
broke
he's
the voice.
regretting on bringing me.
Expected it to go.
I think he's regretting on letting me into the session.
It's way better than you thought.
How long was the recording, Chaston?
We're still
Probably
on,
2 hours.
technically.
2 hours
We
and
could
15 minutes
finally
long.
give a good goodbye to the viewers. Nathan's introduction
Yeah.
to our guest on a podcast. His chaotic energy will be very blessed in our recording in time. We will definitely have him back because this was probably one of the funniest shits I've ever experienced.
It was such a funny podcast.
So, for Gadies and Little Men at home, thank you for watching. Stay tuned until next time.
Zip zap zoomity bop.
Yo!